What's up, everyone? Hope y'all doing good. I'm Anthony K. Thomas, and welcome to Wrestling with Rumors. Welcome, everyone. So, before we get into everything that is this week's episode of Wrestling with Rumors, like I say every week on Wrestling with Rumors, every rumor that you are about to hear is what it is. It is a rumor. We can speculate as wildly as we want, but until that rumor is proven fact, we see it happening on TV or we hear about it in some other way that proves that it is true, it remains what it is, a rumor. So with that, let's get into everything that is Wrestling with Rumors. New Wrestling with Rumors. Let's get into it. There's frustration within TNA over the creative direction for many wrestlers ahead of the new AMC deal per Fightful Select. I get that, because I feel that with this AMC deal that they have, there might be certain freedoms that they had on the channel that they were on before that they might not have on AMC, and there might be, especially when you look at time, how much time they're given. I'm sure that it's going to be a 2-hour show, but as far as being able to go over, are you going to be able to go over on certain episodes, certain things that they were able to do in the ring or outside the ring? They're probably not going to be able to do that anymore. Certain characters might need to change little things about them for this AMC deal. So that might be where some of the frustration is coming from. But I am still excited about this deal and looking forward to what those first few episodes of TNA Impact on AMC are going to look like first of the year. The Good Brothers said on their Talking Shop podcast they believe a deal can be made with WWE to bring them in for a potential AJ Styles retirement in 2026. I could see it. I think we don't know how I don't think AJ Styles is going to do what John Cena is doing in a retirement tour. I think what John Cena is doing for this what John Cena did for this retirement tour is very unique and for him and something he wanted to do. So I think when it comes to AJ Styles in 2026 and looking at him retiring in 2026, what that looks like, what he hopes to accomplish before he hangs it up, before he leaves the boots in the middle of the ring. I hope some of those things would be like him being able to go back to TNA on that first episode of TNA Impact and have a match in the Impact Zone. I think would be great as part of his retirement. I think having the Good Brothers there in WWE one last time, being the club, all of it. I think being able to give AJ Styles the proper send-off is right, and how it will end, whether it ends at WrestleMania or he goes all the way to the end of 2026, we can't really be sure. But 2026 is definitely going to be an interesting year, especially in pro wrestling, for every single wrestling promotion company, but especially in getting questions to what the retirement year looks like for AJ Styles. So as far as the Good Brothers believing that there can be a deal to bring them back to be a part of this thing with AJ Styles, I feel that it needs to be. I feel that it's necessary. So I look forward to it. And absolutely, one last match between AJ Styles and Finn Balor, it needs to go down in 2026. Absolutely. So I hope I see that too. Fightful says multiple TNA wrestlers have deals coming up, but are in active negotiations with a company about a return, like Killer Kelly. I see a lot of the TNA. I don't know exactly which TNA wrestlers who contracts are coming up. But I will say for the TNA wrestlers who have their contracts coming up and negotiating their deals, I think that they'll be able to get pretty. I feel that they'll get good deals with this new AMC deal that's going through, because I feel that they want to stay with TNA so that they can experience this new era in TNA with AMC. So, and to have Killer Kelly back, have Killer Kelly there, is just a huge notch in the knockouts division for TNA, and she's gotta be there, especially in this AMC era that TNA is about to enter. Speaking of contracts, they also say, Fightful also says, JC Mateo signed a 3-year deal with WWE, and he will be with the company through the spring of 2028. So with JC Mateo, we're coming up on 2026, so we still got a little time. We still got some time left. So there are still things that can happen for JC Mateo in WWE. Excuse me. So, but he's really only getting started. He's really only just starting to swim in the ocean with the sharks. Being part of MFT is a good thing for him, and what he will do in the coming years, the coming 3 years in WWE, is something I really look forward to, as far as a singles run and possible championships he can win. So I'm still waiting for the big stuff to come for him, but I feel that it's coming, and I'm holding on to that idea that it will. Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre will have another match, says Bodyslam.net, and they claim said match will have significant storyline implications for both men. So this past Friday on SmackDown, Nick Aldis was shown trying multiple times to get a hold of Drew McIntyre and was unsuccessful. Then he got a letter from Drew McIntyre's lawyer stating that Drew McIntyre will not come back or return any calls or emails or any of that from Nick Aldis because of an unsafe work environment, which always makes me laugh when a character in WWE says they're not coming back because it's an unsafe work environment because it's the WWE. Of course. But it's funny when I see that. It's funny when I hear that. It's funny. I know it's all part of the story and all that stuff, but still, it's funny when I hear that. So the story between Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes is only it's only increasing. It's only moving along nicely. Nick Aldis said that he was gonna go to Drew McIntyre's home personally and try to work this out. So that adds to the story. So I'm really looking at a Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes championship match happening. I want to say that it's going to happen after Christmas. That last episode of a 2-hour episode of SmackDown, where Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes will battle for the WWE Championship. It will be the main event, and it will more than likely be that last episode of SmackDown. That's how I see that going. According to WrestleVote, AJ Lee is indeed planned to be in the Women's Royal Rumble match in Saudi Arabia early this year. I believe I never had any doubt about AJ Lee not being a part of the Women's Royal Rumble. Of course she's going to be a part of the Women's Royal Rumble, especially since it's going to be in Saudi Arabia. I feel that once she saw how CM Punk did in Saudi Arabia and how that went for him, and that was a beautiful moment in the post show of having that moment of forgiveness and all that, and it was beautiful. It was really beautiful, and just being able to face it all, and it was beautiful. And then how the reaction that he got in Saudi Arabia in that match against John Cena for the WWE Championship, and especially on that episode of SmackDown, how it was great. It was great. So I feel that how AJ Lee saw how things went for CM Punk in Saudi Arabia, I feel that it gave her the confidence to know that it'll be fine for her as well to go to Saudi Arabia for Royal Rumble. And I feel that with AJ Lee coming back, I'm sure all of us thought the minute we learned that she's signed a new that she's back in WWE, we all started to think about AJ Lee in the Royal Rumble, the championships that she could win. So yeah, AJ Lee in the Royal Rumble, absolutely, never doubted it for a second. They also say WrestleVote. They also say MJF is factored into plans for the upcoming World's End event. Well, with the Dynamite ring on the line, and he still has that ring, I feel that there's got to be something involving that. And him coming back would also have to mean that's something that involves the AEW World Championship as well. But World's End, the event itself, it's coming together pretty nicely. So it should be a nice event, a nice send off for AEW for 2025. So it'll be good. According to Fightful, it's unclear exactly what will happen to WWE's deep library after the Peacock deal ends in 2026, but there is an expectation that plenty of content will be rolled out on YouTube. So I'm actually gonna go into a little bit more of this later on this week's episode, for this week's episode. So I'm just gonna leave this rumor where it is, and then I'm gonna circle back to this in a little bit. According to Brian Alvarez, WWE has had multiple people under the mask for the Mystery Man helping the Vision. This is an effort to throw fans off. Yeah, I think that this is something they're gonna roll with. I think this will continue either until the last episode of Raw for 2025, or this could possibly even be that first episode of Raw, the anniversary of Raw on Netflix, the 1-year anniversary of Raw on Netflix. It could be that's when they reveal who is under the mask. Absolutely. But I don't think it's going to be Chris Jericho. I can honestly say I don't think it's going to be Chris Jericho. It might be Austin Theory. It could be Montez Ford. These are people whose names have come up as possible masked men. But I feel that if they're going that they're still going with it, I feel that it could even possibly be someone from NXT that they revealed to be under the mask. But it'll be a hit or a miss either way. So I'm looking forward to that reveal when it happens. According to Bodyslam.net, WWE considers Braun Breaker to be their next true big star who could lead the company for years like Roman Reigns. Braun Breaker, I see how the push is going in that direction, but honestly, I don't see it. I don't see a Braun Breaker as their next true big star. I really don't. I see someone like, and I might be biased saying this, but I see someone like an Obafemi being their next true big star. I mean, if you saw how he walked out on SmackDown holding the NXT championship, and how he went face to face with Cody Rhodes, that is your star. I mean, he was just, the gold shirt he was wearing, just everything about him, the confidence, the aura, just screams WWE superstar, top WWE superstar. I mean, the ruler, right? He is the ruler. I mean, absolutely. That is your next top star, is Obafemi, not Braun Breaker. I could see how they're going in that direction with Braun Breaker. I see the push going in that direction, especially now that he has this World Heavyweight Championship match, whether he wins it on that first episode of Monday Night Raw in the new year, or he gets a rematch at Royal Rumble and wins it there. Yeah, he is definitely going to win the World Heavyweight Championship, but I don't see, pardon me, I do not see Braun Breaker as that next top star, like a Roman Reigns, like a Cody Rhodes, or even going further back, like a Stone Cold Steve Austin, or like The Rock, or like a Triple H, or like an Undertaker. I don't see that top star in him. I could be wrong. And no disrespect to Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker is great in the ring. He gets better on the mic. Dude is a road runner in the ring, just how he moves so freaking fast. But yeah, I don't see it as him being that top star. Obafemi is who I see as that next top star. Anyway, WrestleVote Radio claims that WWE's first ever PLE in Italy is scheduled for May 31st, 2026. It will be the first PLE after WrestleMania 42. And it will probably be Backlash, because the history of Backlash coming on after a WrestleMania runs deep. But the fact that there is a gap between when there is between WrestleMania and the next PLE, which will most likely be Backlash, which is May 31st, is, I feel they're holding on to this PLE to be part, my guess, to be part of like a Memorial, well, it would be after Memorial Day weekend, but to hold the gap in between is pretty steep. I mean, it's almost it's a little over a month before the next PLE. So I have questions about what the month in April after WrestleMania all the way to the end of May looks like, as far as the stories that they're telling, the rivalries that they're building, the championship match that they will schedule to build to go into Backlash in Italy, has me curious. But this is going to be being in Italy. It's going to be one of those It's going to be one of those, like, not early mornings. Well, yeah, kind of like early mornings, mid mornings into the afternoon PLEs, which I'm sure none of us really have a problem with. I mean, it's always nice when you get that rare PLE that's outside of the United States, and it's like on in the morning or in the afternoon. It's a good way to start a Saturday, you know. So sweet. But Italy, that's gonna be loud. It's gonna be deafening, because they get loud outside of the United States. I mean, we get loud too, but the chanting and how loud they get. I bring your headphones for that, because you're gonna need to protect those ears for how loud they are going to get. According to Bodyslam.net, WWE is planning to give the SmackDown roster a boost for the upcoming change back to a 3-hour format. WWE is aware that the show desperately needs help with talent and creative, and that's why I feel that in that sense of the word, that's why I feel that a lot of the NXT call-ups need to go to SmackDown. Because this past Saturday, Javon Evans, Obafemi, it just felt right. It felt right for them to be on SmackDown, and Javon Evans has had a few matches on SmackDown already, so it already feels like he kind of already has one foot in the main roster on SmackDown. He just needs to get that. They just need to get him to get that other foot over to be a full-time main roster talent on SmackDown. But I feel that Obafemi and Javon Evans, they are ready for the main roster. They are ready for SmackDown. They are ready to go in, get into the deep end where the sharks are and swim and get in those championship matches and have those moments with the rest of the main roster talent. I mean, look at Lash Legend. Lash Legend is doing very well in her short time thus far on the main roster, teaming up with Nia Jax. She had a match. I mean, this past Friday on SmackDown, she had a match against Alexa Bliss, and she won that match. She showed her dominance. It was a great match. And Lash Legend, ladies and gentlemen, she's in the main roster, and in her short time, she's killing it. She's killing it. It's great. And the future for her, future WWE Women's Champion, the Bougie Bully. She's killing it. It's great to see. The Observer was told there is a 0% chance that Chris Jericho will be revealed as the Masked Man from War Games and Raw. And that was just something that I brought up earlier. That, yeah, I don't think it's going to be Chris Jericho. I think when Chris Jericho comes back, I don't think he needs to be in a group. I mean, if he wants in a faction, I mean, if they have him if he ends up starting a faction, his own faction in WWE, cool. But I think if or when he comes back to WWE, it'll probably be at the Royal Rumble, which is what a lot of us are thinking. But I think it's going to be something he does on his. He's a single. He goes on the solo tip for now, and maybe as he gets back into the fold of WWE, maybe a faction might come along, because he's never really had a faction in WWE. I mean, he's been part of tag teams in WWE, but to have a faction in WWE, I think that would be. I mean, we've seen the factions that he's had in AEW, but to see a faction that he would be able to create in WWE, I would like to see it. But I think when he comes back, it'll probably be at the Royal Rumble, and it'll be as a singles in the beginning, probably. And as far as the music, I think when he comes back, he'll come back. The music, I'll break the walls down, will absolutely play. The people will go wild. Or he might come back to music of his own, which would also be cool. So, but yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it on that one. But yeah, well, yeah. Anyway, like a million thoughts running through my mind on that one. Insider says Natalya and Kevin Owens will be featured as coaches season 3 of LFG on A&E. This is true. This has been confirmed that Natalya and Kevin Owens will be featured as coaches, which is really cool, because now we're getting into talent that's current main roster talent. We're not just having the legends like Bubba Ray and The Undertaker and Booker T, not having not just the legends be a part of it, but we got some current talent being coaches as well for this season. So I love that, and the fact that Kevin Owens is part of it is going to be really cool, because it's going to be a season I'm going to be very interested probably to watch. Because I know right now Kevin Owens can't really do anything in the ring because of his neck. He had neck surgery, and it's a waiting game. You have to take your time with it. You have to allow it to heal, and before you can do anything to get back in the ring. And I know all of us hope that Kevin Owens can come back and get back into the ring and get back into the fold of things at WWE. But in the meantime, him being able to be a coach, being able to give back to those in WWE in this way is a very cool thing. And Natalya, part of the Hart family, just the history and how she will be as a coach. She will bring that fire from the dungeon, the Hart dungeon, into this show. So it's gonna be great to see. Absolutely. And two things I want to touch on real quick. first, the WWE archive. So from what I've read and looked and researched on, it does look like that all the WWE archives will fully be heading to YouTube once their contract with Peacock for the archives is up at the end of the year. So, and WWE is already has already slowly been showing that, as they have a separate YouTube page where you can watch where you can watch matches, They have the classic cartoons that they had. There's a lot of things on there from the archive that are already showed up on their YouTube channel. So I feel that the rest of the archives from WWE will essentially just be on YouTube after their Peacock contract is up at the end of the year, except for NXT stuff. Everything NXT is going to remain with the CW network because of the contract deal, because of the deal that WWE is currently in the middle of with CW with NXT. It also looks like that NXT PLEs, which will end in their contract with Peacock, ends in March of 2026. It looks like it's being said that NXT PLEs will join WWE PLEs on ESPN as of January 2026. Nothing has been officially confirmed on this, but as it looks from what I've read and multiple sources are saying, not my sources, just from what I've seen, from what I've read of what other wrestling news companies and their sources have said, that NXT PLEs will be joining WWE PLEs on ESPN as of January of 2026. I'm still really paying attention to this and waiting to see if anything gets made confirmed. Nothing has been made confirmed yet. If hopefully something gets made confirmed, either by the end of this year or first of the year. But as it looks, if you want to, NXT PLEs, WWE PLEs will all be under one umbrella with ESPN, and that's how that looks. And then lastly, as I said earlier, as of January 2nd, SmackDown will return to a 3-hour show, 3-hour program, which means that they'll probably end up doing the same thing that they did the beginning of this year, when SmackDown became a 3-hour show first of this year. It'll be 3 hours, probably until like mid to the end of summer, and then it'll go back to a 2-hour show. That 10 o'clock hour will be filled with USA programming, whether it's a second season of the Rainmaker, I think, or maybe a second season of Braun Strowman Eats Everything. Could be one that, but I feel that that's what they'll do. That SmackDown will be 3 hours till midsummer, either mid or end of summer, and then they'll fill it with either a new show or a second season of one of the other shows that I brought up earlier. Which it's possible that's how it could go, or it's just SmackDown is going to be 3 hours for the foreseeable future. But we will see. For how I feel that there are a lot of things that WWE learned, NXT being a 3-hour show the first time around, and that hopefully they take those errors and mistakes that they learned from SmackDown being a 3-hour show, and it'll be a better go around of a 3-hour show for SmackDown in 2026. But I stay excited and I look forward to it, and we will see. And that'll do it for this week's episode of Wrestling with Rumors. I want to quickly say thank you for sticking with me for this full episode of Wrestling with Rumors. I appreciate all of you, even if you skip through some of this, because I understand how sometimes these episodes can run long, because I do be talking. But even if you skip through it and just picked and choose parts you wanted to hear of this episode, I still appreciate you for tapping in, for listening, for watching. I appreciate all of you. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with all new episodes of Wrestling with Rumors, and my daily episode of Rumor of the Day drops. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, and I will see all of you on the next one. Peace, y'all.